I don't normally post stuff like this, but I've got to share what happened to me at Walmart last month. It was late at night, around 11 p.m. I remember because the store was half empty, and I'd just popped in to grab a couple of things on my way back from work. You know that weird feeling you get sometimes? Like something's just off? Well, that's how I felt as soon as I walked in. But I figured it was just me being paranoid. Boy, was I wrong. As I wandered through the aisles, I noticed this guy. He wasn't shopping, just kind of drifting. First, I saw him down the canned goods aisle, then again over by the snacks. Every time I'd look up, there he was, just watching me. I brushed it off. Maybe he was just lost or waiting for someone. I grabbed what I needed and tried to ignore him, but the weird feeling wouldn't go away. When I headed to check out, I felt a chill down my spine. He was only a few feet behind me, just standing there, watching. I paid as quickly as I could and made my way to the parking lot, hoping that would be the end of it. But as I loaded my bags into the car, I looked up, and he was there, just standing a few parking spaces away, staring. I threw my bags in the car, got in, and drove off, hoping he'd finally leave me alone. But no. After a minute, I noticed headlights behind me. He was following me. I made a couple of quick turns, but he stuck close, matching every move, like he was in no hurry. It was creepy, and I had no idea what he wanted. Finally, at a red light, I faked a turn and sped toward a gas station. I thought he'd follow, but at the last second, another car blocked his path. I pulled in, shaking, and waited there until my heart stopped racing. I thought it was over. The next day, though, I swear I saw him again, standing across from my apartment. I never went back to that Walmart, and I'm moving soon. It's not worth the risk. I went to Walmart late one night, and I really wish I hadn't. So, I was hanging out with some friends, and they kept raving about this new snack that just hit the shelves. I figured I'd make a quick run to Walmart around midnight to grab some. The parking lot was mostly empty, which I thought was a bit strange, but I didn't think too much of it at the time. When I walked into the store, it felt eerily quiet. I mean, there were barely any customers, just a couple of tired-looking employees restocking shelves. I started wandering down the aisles, trying to find this snack, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. It was like I was being watched. As I turned the corner into the toy section, I heard faint laughter. It was really weird, especially at this hour. I was curious, so I walked closer to see what was going on. When I got there, I saw a group of kids, maybe 4 or 5 of them, playing with some toys. They all looked kind of weird, wearing these oversized hoodies that shadowed their faces, so I couldn't really see them well. I felt a chill run down my spine and decided to leave. But just as I turned to walk away, one of the kids called out to me in this echoing voice, "Come play with us." I looked back, and all of them were staring at me with wide, unblinking eyes. I was freaked out. I hurried to the snack aisle, grabbed what I needed, and rushed to the self-checkout. I stole a glance back at the toy section, and those kids were still there, but now they were smiling, like way too much. Their smiles didn't seem right. My heart was pounding as I paid and bolted for the exit. I jumped into my car, and as I drove away, I glanced in my rearview mirror. Those kids were still standing there, laughing together, their laughter echoing in my ears long after I left. Sometimes, I still hear that laughter echoing in my head. I hope I never have to go back there. This happened to me last week, and I still can't wrap my head around it. I went to Walmart around midnight to pick up some groceries. It was quiet, but as I walked through the entrance, something felt off. As I moved through the store, I noticed an unusual number of workers stocking shelves. It was almost as if they were preparing for a big sale, but there were way too many of them for such a late hour. They all wore matching uniforms and seemed focused, moving in a synchronized way that gave me an uneasy feeling. I was in the cereal aisle when I caught sight of one worker who stood out. He was a tall guy, maybe over 6 feet, but his movements were strange, almost robotic. Every time I turned around, I noticed he was getting closer, even though I was trying to avoid him. I could feel my heart racing as I glanced down the aisle, and there he was, just a few feet away, rearranging boxes, but looking directly at me. Feeling anxious, I decided to check out and get out of there. As I walked to the front, I saw that same worker at the end of the aisle, staring directly at me with an unsettling smile. It was like he knew I was watching him, and that made my skin crawl. I rushed to the self-checkout, hoping to get out as quickly as possible. But as I scanned my items, I looked up and saw that he was standing just a few feet away, watching me intently. It felt like he was waiting for something. I grabbed my bags and dashed out the door, glancing back one last time. He was still standing there, staring at me with that same eerie smile. I haven't been able to shake the feeling that I wasn't alone that night. Now, every time I pass that Walmart, I feel a knot in my stomach, and I can't bring myself to go back.